I'm back. I'll just be brief. The next guy is our Spanish speaker and our like go-getter. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna work from sun up to sundown. Hector Valentin.
Well, thank you guys once again, like Rick said. Coach, nice to see you. I didn't see you right there. Thank you guys for coming by and spending some time, sharing with us what we've learned throughout our next step of our tennis careers. It's been a fun experience. My name is Hector. Like Ted said, I'm originally from Venezuela. I was born there. It's my second go at Gates Tennis Center. That's kind of where my tennis story and career began. I came here asking for a tennis job, and I wanted to have a job that I would enjoy, but there was nothing. Sadly, Sam denied me the first time. But I kept going at it. Thankfully, I knew Clarence Milton is one of our coaches here, and he was in charge of maintenance then. So at the end of the day, I said whatever I need to do to get in the door, and Sam allowed me to help with the maintenance, and slowly made my way into the court, teaching peewees, and at the end of my first experience here at Gates, I was teaching, at the JCC as well, adult clinic. So it was again, it was a very, very special opportunity that you gave me, and thank you for believing in me. I know that it's not easy to just allow somebody without too much experience to teach and be in charge of classes, but thanks for that. I moved to Dallas. My parents both fell ill with cancer, and I just needed to work year-round, and I had an opportunity in Dallas, Texas to pursue and just work all year-round. So I ended up doing that, and learned a lot from a great guy over there. I thankfully fell in the hands of a good person. He was the ex-president of the Dallas Professional Tennis Association. I mean, I'm a very involved guy in the whole politics side of tennis, and he taught me a lot about what the tennis business was about, but I never really quite was able to put everything together. I mean, it was just a great experiences and things that I never really put together. The club was forced to close thanks to again, apartments make more money than tennis courts. So it was a business decision that we understood, and I saw it as a perfect opportunity to kind of reach back, and then my whole family's here, so why not come back to Denver, as much as the cold bothers us foreigners. I was the first person that I reached was Sam. Thankfully I had a great relationship with him before this, so I asked him if he's heard of any pro jobs or really anything, and we had throughout our conversation, I explained to him that I was looking for something more. I didn't want to just be on the court full time, and he said, "I have just the thing for you." And that's how I heard about the program over here, the School of Tennis Management, and it just made sense. I had to quit college to help my parents with paying the bills, and it was tennis is all I have and all I want to have in my life, so it just made sense. It was the right move for me. So thankfully I got to meet great students along the way and learned a lot. But it was said to me once in Dallas that big rocks, pebbles, and sand make great players, and I always love that analogy, I guess. Big rocks, obviously, as a player or as a coach, standpoints represent those basics, concepts. Your forehand, ground strokes, basic stuff. Your pebbles is refining those, things, and the sand represents pretty much the thinking of how to put everything together. And I think that the sand, for me, is what this school is going to do for me. Again, it's just going to be able to fill up all those cracks that will merge all those concepts and experiences, failures, and lessons learned throughout the years together in order to become a full, instead of a player, why not a director or maybe an owner. So I'm hoping that this is a good image for you guys to kind of have on what the program means to me and what it's doing for me. Like I said before, the school became a shift of mentality from seeing things from a certain way to a bigger picture. Once again, how do things come together? We recognized, especially after having classes with Sam, it's amazing how these 5 areas of a business are so present on his talking and on his anything, anything he does. I mean, it's very easy to be able to see those 5 areas being exposed and talked about all the time. I kind of grouped them together a little bit. We have program development and marketing. We also have leadership and staffing go together very well. And then obviously clubhouse and I've always had a good eye for maintenance and something where I started. So I put clubhouse and maintenance together. So we'll talk a little bit about those things and how I've improved on them, what I've learned, and hopefully what I want to see of those in the future. As far as program development and marketing, the main thing, once again, was as a pro, we could think about any program that we want to build, yet we didn't really see how it integrated into the whole picture or other programmings here. So we learned really about what core programming was and why people play tennis. We had various reasons of why people play tennis, whether competitive, whether recreational, whether just, why not to have some exercise. So you want to, again, that's what cardio tennis is at the end of the day. It's more about the exercise instead of why hit the ball well. Just kind of keeps the beautiful essence of a game together. But from those core programmings, we got to see again that big picture mentality of what do we build after that, and we have feeder programming that again, it's just programs that are going on to help promote some kind of flow or progression towards success for players. And one of the biggest examples that we learned and that we built together along with the students team, Rick and I, we build a roadmap of a progression of players, basically from beginner to intermediate, and based on those reasons why people play tennis. In the future, I'm really hoping to create a program here at Gates that is able to really complement the whole picture. Once again, we obviously have, as pros, we had the dream of creating this amazing program and just, that's all we do. But thanks to the shift in mentality, I really want to just focus on creating something that not just stands out by itself, but also helps the whole picture of Gates programming becomes that much better. So hopefully that's something that we'll be doing in the future. The next area, again, is leadership and staffing. This is something that I have the most interest on my whole life, leading people and just, the interaction with people. What I've learned here at Gates, because of the amount of volume that is going on here, back when I was here, a lot of conversations with Sam was that we had to perform because we had so many people, and coming back and seeing that, Gates didn't stay still in time, it just kept growing, and the chaos was even more chaotic now. I learned that communication is key. Obviously, with creating programs and any kind of stuff like that, we have to be able to communicate effectively through different ways. I have one of my favorite examples is Katie. She's just does such a great job to make sure that everybody knows what they have to do, and she puts people in positions to succeed by giving us the tools to be able to do whatever she asks of. So that's something that I've always admired about her. She will not put you in a position where you will fail. That's pretty much how she is, and that's something that I appreciated a lot. Other people like Victoria with junior team tennis, I mean, if you're a coach for junior team tennis and you're gonna go coach your team, you get out there and you have balls, and you have rosters, and you have pencils or pens, and pretty much you're given all the tools in order to just go out there, do your best, and succeed. So that's something, another person that is not here sadly, but I wanted to recognize just because of the amounts of learning that I've gotten from them. And another thing with staffing is that, the hiring people based on their values, which is something that I have to talk very highly about Josh. Josh is one of the persons that I see just non-stopping. I mean, he has a mentality of there's always something to do. There's always something to do, no matter how dead it might be, there's always something that can be done. And that's something that I always, that struck with me a lot, so I appreciate, learning that from you. And also just recognizing guys like Brett, who I feel is like the engine of Casey, pretty much. Anything that needs to be done, he always he's like positive attitude and let's do it. So I appreciate guys like that keep me, thinking about that the work rate and also putting people into positions to succeed and having that mentality of always having something to do is super important for a leader to be able to actually lead. In the future, I'm really looking to be involved with the new students and hopefully give them some of this knowledge that I've learned. I'm looking forward to learning more about obviously doing payroll and scheduling, a little more of that chaos that I'm not very comfortable with, and it's simply the only way that you're going to be comfortable is going through it. There's a beauty in failure, so I gotta be able to go through it so many times that it's kind of learning beforehand, I guess, right? So you gotta go on the ball machine and try it until it finally comes out. So I'm looking forward to having a lot more practice with that next year. The last area would be a clubhouse and maintenance. This is something that I always felt very passionate about as well. Everything starts with the eye. The one eye, that's right, the Hawkeye, right? When you come into a place and it looks clean, it looks organized, it looks beautiful. It's very inviting for people to want to be there and be able to welcome people and have them be the source of communication instead of us reaching out to people. It's so much more powerful when you have, if me and Rick are really good friends and I tell Rick, I went to this beautiful club and they had great programming and stuff, so it's something that I've always been very passionate about. Here at Gates we have a certain standard for things, and that's what I appreciate the most. We don't let things fall through the cracks too much. I like the systems of accountability that we have. Again, guys like Brett are the reason why I feel so passionate about things like this. He's rain or shine, he's out there either power washing or like Josh always says, there's something always to be done and something always to be fixed. So I appreciate situations like that. Well-trained staff is a pro shop's best asset, in my opinion. An example of this, we got to train the staff on the differences between rackets and string patterns, weights, balancing, all of these things. And as far as the clubhouse, that's one of the things that I never really, I feel like you always know those things, but you never really give them the importance until once again, I was able to recognize that thanks to the shift in mentality and know how important my staff was to my pro shop and to obviously making those sales. And finally, just in the future, I want to be able to be more involved with capital improvements. I love anything having to do with resurfacing courts and the lighting project that we might have going on here at Gates. This is something very exciting and something that really drives me. Again, anything having to do with making the facility a better place for our customers. At the end of the day, we're here to serve. We're in the service industry, and anything that we can do to make their experience better is something that I'm really passionate about. So again, to finalize everything, Gates for me has been the sand that puts all my things together and fills the cracks to be able to finally be, hopefully, at the end of the programming, have a full sense of what a director does and represents. I feel like I'm in good hands, and thanks to guys, like Katie, amazing organization skills that keep us in progress over here, Jenny. I really feel in good hands, and I feel like I'm going to be able to achieve my goal. Again, like I said before, tennis is all I have right now, and it's truly the one thing that I feel more passionate than anything in the world, and I'm really looking forward to learning more from you guys and becoming an asset for not just Gates, but also US Tennis. Questions? Good.
No. Is there a specific program that you would like to eventually put together that's not here, or that you really have been thinking about for a long time?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's many things. It's amazing, when you sit down with Ted or our team, Rick, we all have this, great ideas. But like I said before, I mean, it's amazing once you have and you start shifting the mentality. They don't go well with things here, and I mean, it depends. That's I've always talked. Me and team had always great conversations as far as what programming. I want, in my ideal world, I want to be able to build a programming which we have. It's more geared towards obviously competitive players. Thankfully, we have our beginners well taken care of with Rick here in beginner round robin. So I want to be able to build a programming which not just competitive players work on just their tennis game, but also work on their fitness. Again, fitness and competitive tennis go so well together that, I mean, you bring a ladder to class and everybody's just sees you with this horrible eyes, like, how dare you do this to us? So I want people to learn to love. It's kind of like Rafa Nadal always says, learn to love the suffering of it, Yeah, so again, just those fitness classes, more involving medicine balls, the ladder. I mean, that's something that I'm sure the team feels very passionate about as well, being a great coach with college. And it's a great thing because it applies to many levels. It's not just a competitive player. You have the intermediate level player who just feels stuck. Like, what can I do to be better? So getting the body a little bit stronger and working on those areas that work, the muscles, for example, to hit a forehand a little stronger, will always help. So that would be my idea that I will hopefully bring, or we will hopefully bring. I'm not looking to do it alone for sure. So to Gates.
Is the development of that program coming from your coach side or your owner?
No, it's coming from the owners. Yeah, definitely. I'm not gonna do it. So hopefully I'll be able to find, I mean, obviously there's a lot of great pros here at Gates, and that's one of the things that I've loved the most. There's always something to be learned from everybody, but it's nice to know that I have the tools. Again, I can find somebody intense, anywhere here at Gates within the staff. So my goal is to run the program. Once again, that's a great question, Sam, because I'm not looking to be out there as well and teach it and run it at the same time. My goal is to run the program and hopefully share the wealth with my fellow pros and have somebody be out there and teach it that's passionate. Yeah.
If you were going to give somebody next year a piece of advice, a student next year, what would it be?
The major advice I would say is that it's just to kind of step back and see the why you do things or why you think about anything. For example, there's many comments that I've done that I've been able to catch myself in, just like, what hat did I have on that? The pro hat, the manager hat, the owner hat. So that concept of having the different hats, and I would say that is something I would like to stress a lot. Again, the shift of mentality is essential to this program, and I feel it's the one thing that we have to focus the most. Also, just recognizing impulsive decisions. You know, obviously, there's a lot of things that may sound great at the moment. Just learning to once again just recognize and step back, and you build a great flyer, in my opinion. You know, and you go to Ted and he points out this very basic things that you're like, wow, that was not even in my radar. So that was one of my biggest examples for this year. You know, just really step back, look at your work after, and then really think about, as an owner or as a director, what am I missing here, or is it basic enough and covers most of the points. Yeah. Anything else?